Greetings from Bharat Institute of Law. Myself, Archana, Assistant Professor, Bharat Institute of Law, Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. This session is about Introduction to Environmental Law. In this particular session, we will be dealing with what environment is and what are the issues in the environment and what are the impact of these issues in the environment. We will also be understanding what are the legal solutions that are available in order to deal with the issues related to environment. In the final part of this session, we will be discussing a case law related to environmental law and also a general knowledge booster related to environment. Now, let's start with the session. What is environment? In the most simple terms, environment is nothing but our surrounding. It includes each and everything that surrounds us. It includes all natural and physical resources that are present around us. In another terms, it can also be called as ecosystem and the constituent part of the ecosystem. Environment not only means the physical and natural resources, but it also includes the social, economic, aesthetic, and cultural conditions which affects the environment or which are affected by the changes in the environment. To put it more precisely, environment is not only the tangible or physical things that we can see around us, but it also includes the circumstances and situations that affect those physical resources that are present around us. The most precise definition or understanding about environment is that environment is nothing but our surrounding. From where does the word environment comes from? Comes from the ancient French word environner, which means encircle. It also signifies the term surrounding. It has been stated by the author of International Environmental Policy and Law, Mr. Gladwell, that environment is a term that everyone understands, but still no one is able to define. So according to him, he says that it is not possible to define the term environment in the precise terms, but still it is a term that is understood by everyone. There are basically different perspectives to the term environment. One such perspective is that environment includes the physical and biological system that is around a man. What is the physical environment that surrounds a human? That is the land, water, air, etc. And what are the biological environment that surrounds a human? It includes the plants, animals, and other organisms. It has been opined by Gladwell that it is not possible to define environment in precise terms. But still, there are certain legal instruments that defines the term environment. Now, let's look into those definitions provided under various legal instruments. The United Nations Conference on Human Environment was held at Stockholm in 1972. It defined the term environment as both aspects of man's environment, the natural and man-made, that are essential for his well-being and enjoyment of basic human rights. According to this definition, environment includes the natural as well as the man-made environment that is essential for the well-being and enjoyment of basic human rights by a man. Precisely, anything that facilitates the enjoyment of basic human rights of an individual, it can be called as an environment. Another beautiful definition has been given by the World Commission on Environment and Development. So this is very precise definition of environment, which is the environment is where we live. So the place where we live can be called as environment. Another definition for environment has been provided in the 1992 Rio Declaration on Environment and Development. According to the declaration, environment includes environmental needs, environmental protection, and environmental degradation, etc. When we were dealing with the introduction of the session, we saw that environment is not only the physical things that are present around us, but it also includes those circumstances which affects those physical things that are present there. So this definition is bringing in that aspect of the definition of environment. We can say that environment is not only our surrounding, but it also includes those things that affect what is present in the environment. Environment includes the non-physical things as well. This 1992 Rio Declaration lays down a principle which states that human beings are entitled to a healthy and productive life in harmony with nature. This declaration basically enshrines basic human right to live in a healthy environment without affecting the nature. That is, humans have the right to live a healthy and productive life, but it should not be at the cost of harming the nature. What we have seen so far is the international legal instruments that defines environmental law, that defines environment. Now we are going to see about definition of environment that is provided under the Environmental Protection Act of 1986 enacted in India. According to the provisions of this particular act, environment includes water, air and land and interrelationship which exists among and between air, water, land and human beings and other living creatures, plants, microorganisms and property. This also signifies that environment includes anything that surrounds us and the interrelationship between everything that surrounds us. Now you would have got a basic understanding about what environment is. Right. Now we'll see what are the issues pertaining to environment. In simple terms, we can say that the issue pertaining to environment is nothing but the environmental degradation. Degradation here means loss of originality. Environmental degradation means environment losing its original features, original nature. What does the environmental degradation leads to? It actually threatens the right to healthy life and clean environment. Environment includes everything, water, air, land, etc. So environmental degradation means the loss in the quality of water, air, land, etc. When we say that there is an environmental degradation, we can say that the quality of water, air, land that surrounds us has also lost its original quality. When water, air and land that surrounds us loses its quality, it threatens our healthy life and clean environment. A report once stated that worldwide the greatest effects on the health of individuals and populations result from environmental degradation and social injustice. That is, most of the harm that is caused to the human community is because of environmental degradation and social injustice. Social injustice include war, poverty, etc. If on one side most of the humans are affected because of these social injustices, a major part of the community is affected as a result of environmental degradation. So how this environmental degradation is happening? The primary cause of environmental degradation is nothing but the humans themselves. It is the human disturbance that causes environmental degradation. So what includes human disturbances? It includes urbanization, population growth, intensification of agriculture, increase in the use of energy, and increase in transportation. So it is basically all these factors that contributes to environmental degradation. To put it in better terms, environmental degradation is the deterioration of the environment through depletion of resources such as air, water, and soil. Degradation not only means the loss in the quality, but the loss in that whole thing itself. Environmental degradation includes the destruction of ecosystem and causing extinction of wildlife as well. Environmental degradation can be defined as any change or disturbance to the environment perceived to be deleterious or undesirable. Anything that disturbs the originality of our surrounding can be called as environmental degradation. So it includes pollution, biodiversity loss, animal extinction, deforestation, desertification, global warming, etc. So these are basically the factors that leads to environmental degradation. United Nations International Strategy for Disaster Reduction defines the term environmental degradation. Accordingly, environmental degradation is the reduction of the capacity of the environment to meet social and ecological objectives and needs. So, when anything in our environment is not able to retain its original qualities, then it can be called as environmental degradation. To say an example, we know that water has self-cleansing capacity. Even if we pollute a flowing water, it will cleanse on its own. But there is a saturation point to it. When there is lots and lots of pollutants are being dumped into water, then water may lose its ability to cleanse. So water loses its ability to cleanse. Then it is the degradation of that part of the environment. Likewise, any human activity affects the natural quality of anything that is present in the environment, then it can be stated that that part of the environment is degraded. Now, let us look into the causes of environmental degradation. Causes of environmental degradation can be divided into two broad categories. One is human causes and the second one is natural causes. Human causes of environmental degradation includes anything that causes environmental degradation as a result of human activities. The first and foremost human cause of environmental degradation is pollution. Pollution includes air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, etc. The second major cause of environmental degradation as a result of human activity is agricultural runoff. Too much use of fertilizers, chemical fertilizers in agricultural land leads to the loss of natural qualities of the soil. So this also leads to environmental degradation as a result of human activity. The next important cause of environmental degradation is urban development. In the name of development, lots of trees are cut down, courses of rivers are changed, etc. This also affects the natural structure of the environment. Thus, urban development is also one of the human causes of natural environment degradation. Now, let us look into the natural causes of environment degradation. Always keep in mind when we hear the word environmental degradation, it is the change in the original nature of the environment. So, original nature of the environment is changed when there is an earthquake, landslide, or tsunami. So, these natural calamities also causes environmental degradation. So, that is why these are called the natural causes of environmental degradation. Now, let us look into the impacts of environmental degradation. What will happen if the environment around us is a degraded one? When environment is degraded, impact will be first on the animals and plants. Then only the humans will be affected as a result of environmental degradation. When there is a severe degradation of environment, it can lead to loss of biodiversity, that is extinction of animals, total loss of forest areas, etc. This loss of biodiversity can be a result of both natural as well as human causes of environmental degradation. Environmental degradation causes various health issues to humans. Health issues include a low impact headache caused due to noise pollution to cancer that is caused as a result of continuous exposure to air pollution, water pollution, etc. Environmental degradation can cause serious illness to humans, including respiratory illness, cardiovascular illness, nerve damage, etc. Environment degradation has also resulted in ozone depletion, which subsequently exposed Earth to larger amount of sunlight and is causing various health issues to humans and also impacts plants, animals, etc. To put it simply, the impact of environmental degradation is indeed very severe. Here are some cartoons that depicts the attitude of humans towards environment that has resulted in environmental degradation. These cartoons mainly depict the selfish nature of human beings that has led to environmental degradation. Now, let us look into certain ways to mitigate environmental degradation. That is, how we can reduce the impact of degradation that is caused to the environment. The first and foremost thing that we can do to reduce environment degradation is to reduce our overall consumption of resources. It is always a good idea to resort to renewable resources rather than non-renewable resources. The second thing that we can do to reduce the environmental degradation is to reuse all the resources and materials that we possibly can, rather than opting to dispose or discard the materials that we can reuse, such as plastics, metals, etc. It is always good to reuse those resources, and materials. The next thing that we can do to reduce environment degradation is to recycle what we can and whenever we can. Most of the materials that are present in the environment, including paper, metals, plastics, etc., can be recycled. Rather than disposing it or discarding it, it is advisable to recycle and reuse it again. Another possible thing that we can do to mitigate environment degradation is to switch to green transport. One thing about transportation that we can do to switch to public transport so that the usage of energy can be reduced. It is also advisable to switch to eco-friendly means of transportation in order to mitigate environmental degradation that is caused as a result of air and noise pollution. Please note that these are only general suggestions that are provided to mitigate environmental degradation to an extent. We have now understood what environment is, what are the issues in the environment, and what are the impact that these issues in the environment is causing, and what are the ways in which we can deal with these issues. It is actually high time that we realize the need to preserve our environment. Suggesting certain measures to deal with the environment degradation alone will not do any good. In order to ensure that the impact of environmental degradation is mitigated to a greater extent, governments across the world had taken various policy measures and had brought in force various laws to ensure that the impact of environmental degradation is mitigated by imposing a responsibility on the public and brought in force laws that provides for provisions to punish those who actually causes environmental degradation and also punishes those who don't comply with the provisions that are meant for improving the quality of the environment. Let us now look into few policy measures that are taken by the Government of India to ensure that the impact of environmental degradation is mitigated. One such policy measure is Compensatory Afforestation Fund Act of 2016. According to the provisions of this act, 6,000 crore rupees per annum is allotted to the states and union territories to improve the quality of degraded forests. The degraded forests in India include 40% of the total forest cover of India. So, according to the provisions of this act, the states and union territories can use these funds to bring back the original nature of the forests. Next one is National Afforestation Program. This program was initiated by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, which actually promotes afforestation, that is planting of more trees. This particular program also ensures bringing back the degraded forests. Another policy measure taken by the Government of India is the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme. Under this scheme, the government not only ensured employment to the rural class people, but it also ensured that clean and safe environment is maintained. The nature of the employment under this particular scheme itself was to clean the surroundings. Green Skill Development Program was another initiative by the government that actually ensured preservation of environment. Under this program, people were trained to develop their skills in such a way that anything that they do should not cause any degradation to the environment. This program actually paved way for development of various environment-friendly startups. National Clean Air Program was also initiated by the Government of India in 2019. This program provides for various measures that need to be adopted to ensure 20 to 30% reduction of air pollution by 2024. As a part of switching to use of more renewable resources, a 750 megawatt solar project was also inaugurated in Rewa, Madhya Pradesh. In order to reduce the carbon dioxide emission, which is a major contributor of greenhouse gases and depletion of ozone layer, many lightings in the country were replaced with LEDs, which tends to release less amount of carbon dioxide or no carbon dioxide. Establishment of National Green Tribunal was also an important step taken by the government to ensure that cases relating to environment is disposed of efficiently and effectively. As this particular tribunal dealt only with cases relating to environment, it was easy for them to be disposed of in a speedy manner. It is to be noted that these are not the only policies or laws in place that deals with reducing the impact of environment degradation or laws that deals with protection and promotion of environment. What we have seen now is only few laws that actually provides for improving the quality of already degraded environment. In the coming sessions, we will be dealing with various laws that ensures environment protection and penalizes environmental degradation. Now, let us look into a judgment of the Supreme Court of India which recognized the fundamental right to clean environment. This particular case, MC Mehta versus Union of India, was instituted by a very prominent environmentalist, MC Mehta. This particular case was instituted against Shriram Fertilizers Limited, Delhi, on the basis of a gas leak from the industry. Oleum gas leak from Shriram Fertilizers happened immediately after the Bhopal gas tragedy. The gas leak had severe impact on environment and affected the people living around the particular industry. On this basis, a public interest litigation was filed in the Supreme Court against Shriram Fertilizers. The Supreme Court of India gave a very landmark judgment stating that right to clean environment is a fundamental right under Article 21 of Indian Constitution. Article 21 deals with right to life and personal liberty. In this case, it was held that right to life and personal liberty includes right to clean environment. It was observed that Shriram Fertilizers had violated the fundamental right to clean environment under Article 21 of the people living around the industry. Hence, the Supreme Court directed the industry to pay compensation to the people affected by the act of the industry. It also directed that the compensation paid to the people in this regard must be equal to the magnitude of the harm that has been caused by the act of the industry. This part of the session deals with a general knowledge booster related to environment. Blue Flag Certification. It is an international certification given to the cleanest beaches of the world. If at all any beach is a blue flag beach, then it will be the cleanest beach, one of the cleanest beaches around the world. This certification is given by Foundation for Environmental Education. Recently, 8 beaches in India have been tested with Blue Flag certification. In order to qualify for this certification, a series of criteria has to be met. That's all with this session. Thank you.